Hello ladies, gentlemen, and otherwise. I'm Lamar Haven. Welcome back to Ogre Battle 64. Lots of exciting things happening in between episodes. You might immediately notice it if you have an eagle eye, and that is advanced classes everywhere. The floodgates opened in between episodes, and the advanced classes started to come out of the woodwork, including an issue that I found where I made a very important mistake. Apparently, I had paladins that I could have had earlier in the game, in fact maybe as much as 2 scenes ago, if I had paid attention closer in the Sable Lowlands. The very first place you appear, your base in Sable Lowlands, has a shop. In that shop is the Balder equipment, the helmet and the armor. Those were what I was missing to make my paladins. And as you can see, my unit is level 19. There's a reason for that, and I'll discuss that in a second. Anyway, so here's the advanced classes we've unlocked. Obviously, the Paladin here, 3 attacks in the front, 2 in the middle, and back row is healing because he's wielding a blessed sword. It's technically weapon magic. If you equip a different sword, like say Bento here, he's using the Sun Menace, and he would use lightning from the back row. But as you can see, the damage is extremely low, so even for novelty's sake, it's not terribly useful. It's just an extra option in case you get attacked from behind somehow. But your paladins obviously are frontline units. Next, I have the Diana class. The Yidval is their required bow. I thought it was the Balder bow. I actually made this mistake a couple of times while playing, that I thought certain equipment was obviously the upgraded equipment, and it turns out I was wrong. Pay close attention to what equipment you need. It might be something you're not expecting. Also, the alignment was a bit of an issue. I'd used quite a few Urns of Chaos on Melanda there. Next, I've unlocked the Black Knights. Now, something I want to make a point of with these Black Knights. Oh, I forgot to mention, Diana's, they shoot once in the front row, 2 in the middle, and 3 in the back. However, the 3 in the back are actually their weakest damage. Interesting, but still far more useful to get 3 attacks at 24 power than 2 attacks from the middle at 26 power. You can do the math on your own to figure that out. Next we have is the Black Knights. Belger and Garcia both upgraded. As you can see, I've equipped this one with a rosary. There's a reason for that. The Valiant Mantles are what they required. But Satan's Bolova is the only weapon they have at the moment that they can equip. Everything else is pretty much the same. 2 cleave from the front row, 2 from the middle, and Word of Pain from the back. As you can see, not necessarily as physically powerful as, say, a Paladin, but because they don't get that 3rd attack. But this is okay because they sort of make up for it by having it. I think they end up having more vitality and more defense than the Paladin does. If you notice, 24 physical defense and 19 magic. 28 physical defense and 19 magic defense. So as you can see, they end up becoming beefier tanks than the Paladin does. Next, we have Katrina here. I wanted to make a point to show, because Katrina is a named unit who had a unique model. As a cleric, as a priest, she loses her unique model. If you put her back to a cleric, she will regain it. But as you can see, only two healing pluses in the back row, 1 from middle, 1 from front, so I think you know what to do there. And other than that, the only other advanced class I have is the Swordmaster, but I would rather show you what would happen when Bolt cannot do it, because, yeah, I think I can do it this way. If you watch me... Yeah, it won't let me do it from here either. I do have to temporarily change leadership over. Annoying, but Bento, you're back to being temporary leader. Alright, Bolt. Welcome to your new life as a Swordmaster, and look at that alignment. That is extremely close. But Bolt is now the next character submitted character. Users... Let me try this again. Viewers submitted character to get to their master class. Only one left is IGN Wind, and getting the Siren or the Archmage is a lot of stats required. So he's got quite a bit of work before he'll get there. So let me go back to unit commands and change the leader back to Bolt. And we'll check out the stats for a Swordmaster. Swordmasters get 3 attacks from the front row, 2 from the middle, and a sonic boom from the back. As you can tell, the color that is in the background of it is the same color as the slashes. That means it's still considered a physical attack, but it is a ranged attack. So it's sort of like an archer, in a sense. But that said, I don't think they have access to much sword magic. There's very few two-handed swords in the game. But I think there are some, and I think it does change the element of sonic boom. I can't confirm 100%. Let's go ahead and double check his equipment, though. See, he doesn't have the Bastard Sword anymore, he has the Claymore, because that's default. He starts with Cloth Armor. Let's see if there's anything better for him. Nope. Nahachigane. The only thing better is the Hanya Mask, and not very. His defense as a Swordmaster isn't fantastic. He's all about avoiding those attacks, which is why his dexterity is 123. So, there are 2 things that I wanted to mention beyond this. One, you might notice that Aznabel is not yet a Black Knight. That's because he doesn't have the stat requirements needed. But there's also something else I wanted to show. You might remember that one of my Black Knights is not wearing their Valiant Mantle. That doesn't matter. As you can see, there's an X on the Valiant Mantle, meaning we don't have enough of them. So even if you're not equipped, you have a Valiant Mantle in your inventory, you need a total amount of Valiant Mantles equal to your total amount of Black Knights. That's just the way it works. If I were to change one of those Black Knights into a different advanced class, then I could use Aznabel as a Black Knight if his strength requirement was met, but it's not at the moment. So I just wanted to make that clear, and I'm going to go back to the other Black Knight and equip him. Secondly, there were times that I was expressing that I was very disappointed with that I wasn't getting class upgrades when I should have. I think I found out why. If I go to equipment, and let's just use Gordon as an example, his default plate armor, default armament, default kite shield, those still increase your stats. Default equipment is not calculated towards their stats that they need to class up, and I think that's where I was getting stuck. Default equipment is very important, and you need to take that into effect. So if you go to your item menus, item commands, list items, if I go to the armament, you'll see it has resist strike 4, but in that it doesn't change anything. Let's go to just a Balder sword. See, it gives 5 strength, 3 int. That's what the knight's basic equipment is. So they have 5 more strength than they actually look like, and 3 more int than they actually are supposed to. Kite shield is just resist strike. And the other piece of equipment they have is armor. They have plate armor, which gives them more resist strike. So not much increase to stats, but still enough that you need to pay attention. With that said, there's one other thing that I should mention. There's a Pedra we have been missing. Malaysia here. If you remember, I mentioned back at Mount Ithaca, I showed the battle with... I didn't show the battle, I'm sorry. I showed the result of a battle with a Dragon Master and her advanced dragon. One of those battles exists here in Malaysia. What I forgot to mention is that it has to be your main unit, your main character, Magnus, in a unit that has to do that fight, and it's only a chance to happen. If I go to the organized screen, I think you'll see my Goth is extremely low. I had almost 10,000 more Goth than that one before I started in between episodes. Upgrading units can be kind of expensive, and training can be expensive, especially when your highest level unit is your main unit. So I didn't actually fight the dragon yet. Unfortunately, that means I don't have the Pedra that is here. But I will make it a point to come back here in between episodes and train at least once with my main unit to try and get that Pedra. All of that said, we're now ready to head on to the Azure Plains. Scene 17. Visitors from the West. here's the plan. Listen carefully. Let's get started. Ramilla in the east will be our headquarters for this operation. Fort Neustrien will be our destination. It's located a day northwest of Ramilla. We must capture the fort and secure the road to Castle Talpea. Our reconnaissance indicates that many air units are approaching us from the western side of Azure Plains. I was expecting them to simply march southward from Castle Talpea. Something's fishy. This may be... No, I shouldn't make uninformed speculations, but be careful. Alright, so, that said, we are going to get a bit of an ambush at some point during this map, so we have to be careful and protect our home base. You understand? Let's go. There's also a special character you can get in here. This is going to be, I think, the first special character you can get based on having a low chaos frame. So if you're chaotic, that was odd. The symbol looked different. Anyway, the symbol that indicates what type of army you're dealing with. That said, let me double check exactly where he is. That's Junhile, Dolphin, Copper Mine. Copper Mine here is where you want to go with a low chaos frame. Doesn't matter of the alignment of the specific unit. It might not be in Copper Mine itself, it might be in the outlying areas, but the character's name is Sheen, and he happens to be a raven. I think he's a raven. Anyway, he's a character that you can only get with low chaos frame. Here we have is Orwell the Raven, who wants to kill us, but we're not going to let him. Junhela is neutral, so Troy, I'll be sending you down there. To the north, we have Fratelli, very lawful. Bolt, I think that'll be your job. And to the west, we have Dolphin, also very lawful. So let me see. I think I might head there. Now I'm going to dispatch Bad Guy, but just have him stand pat. I'm not going to give him any orders. Then I'm going to start everybody going. And we already have a hint as to who we're dealing with here. Mulder, the Knight Templar. This is a soldier of Lotus. They are essentially what can be compared to as paladins. Be very careful, they're not to be underestimated. That specific unit looks mostly chaotic, so a lawful unit, Bolt, should be fine. Alright, I'll let that head out. Rush, the Knight Templar, with 2 Dragon Masters and 2 Wizards. Not terribly frightening. Abel, however, is the one guarding the town. Mostly lawful unit. Morris, I'm gonna head you out. Wind, head north. Vega, Leia, I'm gonna have Leia lay weight in there. Kodro, I'm gonna also have you lay weight in there. Let's head out. So the Knight Templar of Lotus are here. Hopefully that doesn't mean that they're beginning a full assault on us. Palatinus and the Revolutionary Army. I finally found you, fools who dare defy our God's will. Okay, he makes no bones about it. He's on a crusade. Let's end his crusade here and now. Now, because we have advanced character... Wow, that went a lot faster than I thought it would. Because we now have advanced classes, myself, Dio, and Leia are all a little bit outpaced by certain characters. This won't last long, I promise. Thankfully, we are in zero threat of losing to this. The Dragon Masters, while they are advanced characters that aren't terribly frightening as a unit in the whole, as a whole, and we got more than enough hits in. Ugh, killed 2 characters and we only gained 12 experience. Maybe I should back off and let somebody else... Yeah, I'm gonna let somebody else handle that. Morris. No, I'm going to have Vega head in. And I'm gonna stick around there, I suppose. I'm gonna try and avoid... Actually, Vega, go for the stronghold. And yes, we are being assaulted by 4 Raven units. There's a Raven. This one's actually a Volton. Yep. And Sergei, the Raven. Okay, so things are actually progressing quite nicely. Leia, I'm gonna have you head down. I'm gonna stop myself. Vega, I don't remember if I told you to go after the stronghold yet, but you should. Morris, I'm gonna put you, like, right here. Okay, everything should be good. And Bolt is running into his own Knight Templar unit. Thankfully, the Knight Templar is completely exposed, so we should be good to murder it. Yep, blocked both the Paladin attacks. That's a shame. By the way, I do have the capability to use a Freya. However, she happens to be one of my priestesses. So, I can't actually use a Freya. Oh no, double status effects on my poor Paladin. Owie. Now that you're starting to deal with units that have more attacks than 2 around, i.e. advanced classes with 3, stuff like status effects becomes more useful, because you're less likely to only stop 1 attack, you're more likely to potentially stop 2. That said, the Witch doesn't have an advanced class associated with it, which means that they kind of fall behind anyway, both in stat growth and abilities. You would be much better served by finding an advanced class that has a status effect associated with an area of effect attack, or a combination spell. Alright, successfully liberated. And yes, I did notice that Bolt's cleric took quite a beating from that. Did you see the guy with wings? He proposed to me. He said he'd come back for me in 3 years. He wanted to fly around the world for our honeymoon. I can't wait. The the character I mentioned that you can get. He's quite the ladies' man. Kong, what are you like? I'm gonna want Wind to deal with you. And Troy found a plumed headband, which is incredibly useless. Alright, Morris is at target location. I'm gonna have him try and intercept Davis. Wind is now there. Oops. I want Wind to deal with Kong. Alright, Vega's going in pretty much all alone at this point because I've split things off. But this is an incredibly weak unit, so I'm not terribly worried. We're gonna break through his armor pretty quickly with our Paladin and advanced weaponry. Ow. Oh no, throw kiss. That next one attack he does might actually hurt him a little bit. Oh no, you put him to sleep. Dang it, that's our Paladin. He's not gonna get his 3rd attack. See, I told you. Status effects are more useful now because crowd controlling these powerful characters is very important. That said, exactly how you're going to use the status effects or where you're going to get them from is a very important thing to consider. Alright, I'm gonna start heading out too. Give her a little backup. Liberating Dauphin. Very well done, Vega. Head inside. Fort Neustruin guards this border. It's been abandoned since Ludus subjugated Palatinus. Who would attack us? Who indeed? I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about Lotus. Knight Templars everywhere. But they keep exposing themselves because they're confident in their defensive capabilities. Let's punish them for it, shall we? Lightning! They're also not very good at resisting elemental damage. Ow. That ninja's actually fallen behind in levels quite a bit, so I need to give him more opportunities to level up. Hopefully Dio can tank quite well. Nah, I'm good. I don't need to use an elemental Pedro in this group. As you can see, due to the fact that I took on this mission second as opposed to first, and I unlocked a ton of advanced classes, the Knight Templar aren't exactly terrifying me. But do be warned, if you're not as high level as I am, you don't have as many advanced classes, or you're just overall concerned with your performance in other levels, the Knights Templar are going to be a threat, and I'm not going to catch up to them, not with Morris. So start heading for the stronghold, Morris. Kojiro can catch up, though. Wynn needs time to rest. Bento might start to get in trouble. I mean, not Bento, bad guy. So I need to cover him with Kojiro. I can't have bad guy be my only line of defense. He has to be the last line of defense. Ow. That hurt Vad quite a bit. But healing plus. And yeah, Liddell hasn't unlocked the Diana class herself yet either. So I just also wanted to make an important distinction for folks in case you're still confused about how classes unlock versus a personal character's unlock of a class. To unlock the class that you have not seen, that you don't have access to yet, you need the equipment, the basic equipment for the class, someone to reach the statistical requirement without any equipment, and the alignment requirement. All of those have to match to be able to make it happen. If you've already unlocked the class, you no longer need the basic equipment, except for certain exceptions, like the Black Knight, that have equipment that can't be bought in normal means. But otherwise, you don't need the basic equipment anymore. You will buy it when you upgrade the class. It also has the added benefit of when you choose a character to change class, you'll be able to see said class that you want to change them into, and you can see exactly what you're missing. Well, not exactly. You've seen the bars as they show up on the screen, the little pie chart-ish things that show that you're missing a stat, not necessarily how much of it you need left. That's where you're going to have to use a guide. I'm going to have to send Kojiro back to base just in case. Wind. See if you can get a good back attack on him. And liberated Drumheimer. Well done, Troy. Let's see what's going on. East over the Azure Plains is Castle Talpea. Don't go there. Don't fight the Western Division and Prince Yumil. I agree the aristocrats suck, but it's even more wrong to fight Prince Yumil. You're not supposed to be fighting him, right? A lot of people seem to love Yumil. I guess he's of good face for the royalty. I need to double check something. What? What? Oh, because he was in a state of changing position. Sure enough, there's a shop here. Double check everything. Thunder Spear is a requirement for getting a Freya, so you'll want one. I'm buying an extra one just in case. Buckler, also a requirement. Balder Mail, I think, might be a requirement. Amulet, I've got more than enough of those, and I've got everything else. Good thing I double checked. And Morris caught up to Samson. Awesome. And he managed to attack him from the side, so the Raven is exposed. So not the most events. Black Knights are actually fairly all-around in many senses. It's only when they level up enough to get... Oh, I gave Sophia a Book of Bane. That's why their combination attack is different. I figured it'd be more interesting to have a Bane elemental attack. It actually might come back to bite me in the butt. Because, wow, it's weird they did that. But one, it has the power down effect. But two is something you need to be careful of, and that is undead. Undead, I think, are healed by Bane elemental attacks. And I think ogres and goblins might be resistant to it. So keep that in mind if you do it. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on this, but it's something that'll probably eventually get tested out in the game. So you'll see it when I do. It seems odd to me, to be perfectly honest, that the Black Knights require special equipment and yet aren't exactly special classes. They're not... I mean, they're unique in the sense that they have a unique style and a unique attack and unique equipment, but they're not unique stat or ability-wise, which is where my confusion lies. There are other classes that are very interesting, very cool, that are unlocked through a lot of hard work, side questing, and you can only get one of them, and they have limited equipment, just like the Black Knight. But they have a reason for it, and they're resisting a lot of my attacks. Hopefully you'll be able to deal enough damage to that Raven so that he'll stop trying to go for my base. But he keeps resisting the attacks that